Okay. We just put our ring up onto the scaffolding, and so took a little while to get like where we were gonna position it, because before we put these markers on going to the 5 points from the center, which is where our arches are gonna start. So that's the underneath point. So these are our 5 points here, and then this is the size of our pillars of the hyperbolic. So we're just putting a few of them in. Now, with these, we want to make sure we've got enough space in the bottom to be able to maneuver them a bit, because this one, we might want it to be a little bit this way. Like it should be sitting against the ring, the edge of the ring on the top there. That's a little bit too far in, because it's got a cross with the other bamboo. So that needs to come out a little bit too. Because where these bamboos cross over, that's right, that's nice. Where this sits down the bottom, depending on how the bamboo is angled, and here we're right on the metal is right on the edge there. So either maybe the ring is a touch high, or we need to come this way a little bit. We did cut these so that they should be on the right angle, but there might also be a little bit of an angle from here. We've got the straight angle going up there, but then also we're twisted a little bit this way. So that's the part of the bamboo mathematics that I'm not an expert on. We've got our bottoms. This is black bamboo patung. This one is facing up. So you have the lip of where the branches were before. This is always at the top side. So if you're looking, like, we know that's the top of the bamboo. So we're packing the top, and then this, probably our metal is not going to be too much of a problem on that one. But where the node is close to the bottom, this to have the node close to the bottom, because this can crack later. So like here, we want to punch out node. Actually, that is the bottom. We want to punch that out a bit, so we have space to move around on the bamboo, because they're all like a bit bent. So we might need to shuffle at the bottom so we get the nice line and angle over. So how we do that with a smaller bamboo. And still poke that out a bit more. That just means we've got maximum movement around where the metal is sticking. Bamboos aren't straight, and we always need to like maneuver a little bit and use our judgment to pick the best line, the best to put the bamboo on. Maybe I have one. You can kind of see like every second one there is marked. This is the model for the foundation and how we're initially going to put the scaffolding and set the ring up there. This is what our metal in the ground looks like. We've got 2 rings, and they're spaced apart 60 centimeters. Then they sit off the bottom of the hole by 10 centimeters. And then these angled ones are what come up and are going inside our bamboo, fix our bamboo. So then from where that top line is, there's still another 10 centimeters of cement, of concrete. So it fills up a bit higher than this ring line. See? Then these is where they should sit. So there should be 30 centimeter gap in the bottom, 20 on the top. Actually, this model is the wrong way around. The inner ones are going the opposite direction. Side is in. then the final. So initially, just half of the bamboos have metals going inside, and then later we'll join on the other half to still like balance everything out and join onto the ring. On this model, both sides go above the ring and bolt into the side of the ring, but we ended up deciding that it's better to bring your bamboo under the ring on one line, like what we did on the tower. That tower over there. There's shorter bamboos, 8-meter bamboos, that go up to that ring. The ring's sitting at 7.5 meters. And then the other bamboos go along the side, and they're both side. So where these arches come into the ring, that's like where we're starting. They're our main points that need the best reinforcement. And later, we've got 5 laminated arches. This is using bamboo, and like if you have a machine that can make split, it's a game changer when it comes to doing this kind of architecture. Yeah, so it's exactly right. Down here. It's here. So we need them to join. And then where they actually cross up there, it's semi-important. Like we want it to kind of line up. So it's sort of the building process is all about getting it all kind of balanced. So it's never about precision. Like you always got more than one thing to consider with bamboo. You've got your straight lines and then your positioning, but it's very rare that they're both going to line up the same. So it's about how you problem solve and how you work out this process of like, I mean, this is the first time we've done this model. It's a bit experimental in terms of using this as a wall, but my thing with that is that I want to be able to enclose the space. Because the Bali designs, like it's very hard to put walls and everything up and to keep out rat, chicken, snakes, any good ones. So the mistake I made was these come straight out of the top ring. So these ones should have been out before they poured the metal. I should have got this top then over a bit. So this came up a little bit here. And this one bent over a bit and came up a little bit here. Those tops should have like a shape like that in them. But I mean, it's okay. The end of the world. So they're going to go slightly in. These going to go slightly out. And I didn't use really big bamboo, so I think it's going to be okay. Yes. Where the metal is, this is why. So like where that metal goes in, like as long as it's in there, later we fill this with cement so it sticks it on. Might have to come out this way a bit more. So this bamboo can slide on it coming this way. And these metals, when they got put onto the foundation, onto the bar, a little bit too inclined. It was meant to be a 30 centimeter space from where you go down to where it goes across to where that one comes up, and they made it 40. So they're a little bit too going like this. Just lift it up, and plus we've got like that bigger space inside the bamboo. There's a lot of leeway with bamboo. That's where we're at today, and it's Tuesday, the 24th of June. So this is week 3. By the end of this week, we want to have all this structural part up. And then next week's going to be, I have people here doing cleaning all this because, I mean, when you're starting and stuff, there's going to be issues, things sitting on top of each other, epoxy going everywhere, sawdust. Like, we just need to clean all this up. And we want to get a coat of varnish on everything before we put it up the first time, because at least if it's got one coat on it, like it's going to maybe get a bit damaged and stuff. It doesn't have to be the final coat, but at least all the bamboo is sealed. So hopefully it's not going to be problematic. The bamboo will be with you. we're working on a model for an eco room, and I'm kind of designing it to be something that we could possibly do on a Bamboo for Africa program. And we're a hyperboloid in the base. The main reason for that is because I want that the walls can be enclosed and solid so that animals don't come in. Done our foundation and putting up the hyperboloid base. So we've lifted our ring and got our scaffolding in place so that ring is set first, and now we're putting these pieces in. The 2 meter, these are 2 meter 20 crosses are sitting under the ring, and these 3 meter ones on the outside, those ones, they're sitting on the outside of the ring because we've got 2 different planes being against each other. So this is one of the important things, is that these points, the distance from there to here to where these cross, we want them to be roughly the same all the way around. We made our stuff up on the foundation before we poured the cement. These were meant to, before they set, they were meant to get bent out and up because they were sitting in the same line. So they need to be a little bit spaced that way so that we've got the inner plane and the outer plane. But in the posisi di sini harus apa namanya? So that yeah.
Di atas benar apa yang di bawah? Dua-dua tak bisa, keduanya harus benar. Ini salah fotonya.
All right, yeah, no, there. This is the important one here. You need a beeping thing.
Ya itu dah.
And yeah, if that one, we can always put a little bit of tacking in the top. Bisa tambah sepatu. But
Apanya?
this one is this one here.
Ini sama sepatu.
Ini harus ketemu.
In the sama posisi sama.
Ya, sama dah satu
This one 32. Okay. But yeah, if you want, we can put a thing in there. Not crack, not pecah. So yeah, these should all be sitting on the same angle. So in the bottom, we've got 2 rings. This is the foundation. So we've got the upright metals that space the bottom ring 10 centimeters from the bottom of the trench. And then we've got our bottom ring on there. And then we tie the top ring on, which is 60 centimeter spacing from the bottom to the top ring. And then the L pieces, they should be from the upright angle, from the perpendicular angle to the ring. The space at the bottom should be 30 centimeters. So from that angle, going straight down across here to straight up, that distance should be 30 centimeters, and that'll give us the correct incline on the metal. But like I was saying, this one's where the doorway is, so it doesn't have one coming this way. So let's see how this one is not quite right. I wonder if we can twist that. So yeah, this one, either we should have twisted that, pushed that in, that metal. ones have to come down a bit and up here. It was a similar, we had a similar situation on our tower. So yeah, that was terror. But you can see here, we've got 3 planes here. So we've got these big bamboos that support the ring. So they're sitting under the ring. And then the outer 2 bamboos, they pinch the ring. So one goes on the inside, one goes on the outside of the ring, and they pinch the ring. And then go up through the floor on the inside, and the outside one sits on the outside. It's also, the floor's overhanging. So. But when we were down here, these metals were too close together. So this one was okay, and this one was okay, but these ones we really had to bend out quite a lot to get them to sit on here, which is fine because it ended up bringing us higher up off the ground, which is good because we don't want the bamboos sitting on the cement. So you can sit here as well. So these weren't filled until the quality of cement in Indonesia. I think it's because there's so much silt in the sand because we're using volcano sand. This cement that got filled in after, it's plasticized cement, so it has a material in it that stops this from absorbing water through the foundation. Because they don't do any waterproofing here, there's always going to be water absorbed, like coming up through the foundation. And that's why in Indonesia, like, paint is always peeling off the walls of the buildings because they don't waterproof anything. So like here, like it's okay that it's not touching the bottom, like this angle. How did all that get there? This, maybe it's just in one side. This has been through a rainy season and it still doesn't have a roof on, which is not ideal at all. But yeah, we covered these and then fill the cement in here. Oh my God. Fill the cement into there, like after all the structure is in place and rigid. So there you can see that metal. We pulled it over and then bent it up because of also the curve of the bamboo. See how this one curves along around. The important thing is like where these bolts go through, where they all meet each other, that those calculations are correct. I mean, it's always going to be here or there a little bit because you have to turn the bamboo this way or this way, try and get it in the best position. So it's going to meet the ring, so it's going to meet in the right place there, and then also hopefully down to the foundation. What I'm wondering is at what stage we should put the cement inside the pillars, because usually, like, we don't want this, once we're climbing up on there, we don't want this moving. So this one, it's okay because the cement will fill up into here, and this also is plasticized, but not incredibly well. We want this to be rigid when we're working on it. Usually bamboo buildings, because they use with the longer pillars and members, they finish the roof first. So like once everything's done on the roof, then, and all the roof's finished, so there's not going to be any more movement or, movement like this, then they fill the cement. So when all the roof's finished. But in this case, we want it to be rigid so that nothing's going to move when we put the roof on. The miniature of the roof is this one here. It's kind of like the miniature model of what we're doing. So we've got rub arches. We've got laminated arches on the inside. Laminated arches in here. The ring at the top, so we won't have that cone at the top. We're going to have a skylight, but our rafters will run up to that ring, and then I don't know, with this liddy here, we'll have a ring there, and this is our main liddy here doing a snaky. So there's our rub arches. So that's diameter 3.5 meter, and the arches are low. This diameter is 5 meter. So this is nearly like half size. And then these are our arches here. They're going to be 2 meter. So this one's like a short, stumpy version. So we're putting on the first 15 going in each direction, but actually because of our entrance way it's 14, and then once they're all set we'll put on another 15 that go in between. So this is like half the amount of bamboos that's going to be on there. There's that model. Yeah. Even this one, my pieces are falling off a bit. But see that it's half. And then when they're all put on, only every second one of these has a metal inside. So we're putting them on first. Then later, and then also half of these ones we're putting on. That one fell off. That one's falling off. Then later we'll add the others. So yeah, the important thing is we get this attached to the ring, that these are solid, and then we can put our floor on here and we can start working on the top section. Everything's been pre-made and put on the ring. We undid everything. Now we put the ring up, and then once this is up and we put the floor on, then we're gonna start putting these arches on. Yeah, so there's how many of us? 4 bamboo workers and 4 students, pretty much. Yeah, so I'm going to be following this process. So if you want to co-build with us online, eco-build, I'm going to be doing weekly updates and also through the week. So if you want to join our membership site, or if you want to send me an email and request membership, that will be awesome, and we'd love to have you. And we have a couple of levels of membership, so if you're on the premium level, you will be doing live meet sessions every week before our Bamboo for Africa meeting, and you can ask questions on those sessions. That'll be the premium members. So yeah, I hope you can join us, because we want to make this building awesome. And you can also pre-purchase accommodation time here, and so you can come and stay here. We're setting up the yayasan, so for this to be like an eco school that supports bamboo builders and families here in Bali, and for the kids to be able to come here and also do language exchange, so we can learn Indonesian, and so those kids we hope will go more into like the bamboo field, because a lot of other kids in the village here, they go for other jobs because bamboo doesn't pay so well. They get jobs in hospitality, they learn English, and they get higher pay. So this is lamination, student style. Well, still it's alright. So it's splits of bamboo and they're laminated together. So that's also part of what we'll be going over, like all the techniques of how to make this building. You want to be able to transfer it so that anybody over there can make it. And I've kind of modified like some of the techniques that they do in Bali, which are like more high-end techniques. You need machines, you need a lot of equipment for it, and that takes a long time. So I'm trying to like see how things can be adapted to make it a bit faster, to make it more friendly to doing in an environment where you don't have all the tools. But in saying that, like you really need one of those splitting machines, like having a planer, splitter. So usually they would use thinner splits, tali splits, and they would have the skin totally taken off, and they'd be like all exactly the same size, because that's how you do the really artisan style. So in this case, these are rough splits of patung bamboo, so you can see how thick they are, because it saves a lot of cost on making your ring. The thing to remember is like epoxy doesn't stick to the skin of the bamboo. So like here we've taken the nodes off, just buzzed them off. We actually put these ones through the thickness sub. So the ring is a series of those. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it should be about 10 to 15 centimeter, this ring. And deep it should be 3. But for the weight of this structure, like if you're doing a heavier roof, that would be 3 deep. Most of the standard buildings in Ajuku, they are like 9 by 12 or 15 this way. So this should be about 12 centimeters by 9. But yeah, like I said, this is strong enough, because patung bamboo, if it was tali bamboo, yeah, you definitely need like the 3, 1, 2, 3 thickness. But in this case, It's super strong. So it's using the Pinbu principle, and we'll go through that in the video course as well. So you've got pins going that way and that way, not just like this, because it can come off. They're going this way and this way. I'll show you a piece of Pinbu. Selamat pagi, Pak Abir. Alright, so this is Pinbu, and now I forget who it was that credited with coming up with this concept, but it's basically, here you can see the top, that's the top of the bamboo. Bamboos are turned on their side. This is the skin, the bamboo, and then all layered like that. So you need clamps. It's a little bit intensive, but once you've got your basic setup, you can make tons of it. The other thing is you need a machine that makes all your splits exactly the same size this way. Otherwise, you're going to be spending forever planing stuff. So you can see there's a pin, bamboo nail going all the way through here. This way, it'll never bend. It's super strong. This way, I don't know if you've ever walked up bamboo steps, but there's flex in there. I'm not a fan of bamboo steps for this reason, but this is super strong. So even though there's gaps in there,